Crystal Gayle, born Brenda Gayle. Webb on January 9, 1951, in Paintsville, Kentucky, came from humble beginnings. Growing up in the heart of Appalachia, her early years were marked by poverty and hardship. Her father, Melvin Ted Webb, worked as a coal miner, and his battle with black lung disease left a lasting imprint on the family. Crystal was the youngest of 8 siblings, and her father's passing when she was just 8 years old shaped her early life in profound ways. Her family moved from Kentucky to Wabash, Indiana, in hopes of receiving medical treatment, but the loss of her father left an emotional scar that never fully healed. In a home filled with struggle, Crystal's voice was her refuge, and music became her way to escape the hardship surrounding her. It was in this environment that she first learned the power of song, finding solace in the sounds that helped her endure. Discovering her voice. From an early age, Crystal's talent was evident, though her childhood was anything but ordinary. She often sang in local churches, finding comfort in the act of performing. Music was not just a hobby for Crystal, it was her way of surviving. At just 4 years old, she could already sing, and her voice carried an emotional depth that spoke far beyond her years. When Crystal's sister, Loretta Lynn, a rising star in country music, became a household name, it brought both pride and pressure. As Crystal listened to Loretta's voice crackle over the radio, she realized that music was her only path out of poverty. However, it came with the weight of being constantly compared to Loretta, a shadow that loomed large over her early career. Crystal knew she had to carve her own path, but the pressure to live up to her sister's legacy was enormous. The struggle for identity. Crystal's entry into the music industry was not marked by applause or fame. After high school, she signed her first contract with Loretta's label, Decca Records, in 1969. But instead of being recognized for her unique talent, Crystal was expected to emulate her sister's style and presence. The industry wanted her to be Loretta's little sister, and Crystal struggled to break free from that label. Even her name was questioned. And it was only after Loretta saw a diner sign with the name Crystal that she decided to rebrand her sister. The decision to adopt the name Crystal Gayle was more than just a change of identity. It was a step toward finding her own voice in a world that wanted her to be a mere copy. Her early singles failed to capture the public's attention, and the critics continued to compare her to Loretta, making it difficult for Crystal to see her own worth. The turning point: breaking free. In 1974, Crystal made a bold decision to leave Decca Records and sign with United Artists. This was not just a career move, it was an act of personal liberation. With the help of producer Alan Reynolds, Crystal began to discover her true voice, one that was soft, gentle, and uniquely her own. Alan encouraged her to step away from the Appalachian style that had defined her early work and instead embrace a smoother, more polished pop country sound. For the first time, Crystal was allowed to sing as herself, not as an imitation of Loretta. The songs she recorded during this period, like Restless and Wrong Road Again, helped Crystal build her identity as an artist in her own right. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one that would lead to her eventual breakthrough as a star. Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue? In 1977, Crystal Gayle's career reached a defining moment with the release of Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue. The song was initially considered for another artist, but Alan Reynolds knew it was meant for Crystal. With one simple, heartfelt performance, Crystal transformed the song into a global hit. It reached number 1 on the country charts, number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and became an anthem that defined an era. The song's haunting melody and Crystal's soft, emotional delivery resonated with listeners around the world, and suddenly, she was no longer just Loretta Lynn's little sister. Crystal had found her place in the world, and the industry took notice. Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue marked the beginning of Crystal's rise as a crossover star, capable of moving between country and pop with ease, defining a new sound in country music. Crystal Gayle's impact on country music cannot be overstated. Before her, country music was rough, raw, and deeply tied to the mountain life that had shaped its origins. Crystal brought a breath of pop into the genre, softening its edges and making it more accessible to a wider audience. Her music helped define the sound of modern country pop, and her influence can be heard in the work of artists like Shania Twain, Trisha Yearwood, and Faith Hill. By blending pop melodies with country storytelling, Crystal helped reshape the landscape of country music. Her success was not just measured by chart positions, but by the way she transformed the genre, making it more melodic, universal, and emotionally resonant for a global audience. Career peaks and lasting legacy. The late 1970s through the mid-1980s were a golden period for Crystal Gayle. Her duet with Eddie Rabbitt, You and I, became a wedding anthem for nearly 2 decades, and her solo hits continued to top the charts. Crystal's ability to connect with audiences through her gentle voice and deeply emotional delivery made her one of the most beloved figures in country music. But her success was not without personal struggles. Behind the scenes, Crystal was still the girl who had lost her father at a young age, the woman who had spent years living in the shadow of her legendary sister, and the artist who had fought silently to establish her own identity. Yet through it all, her music remained a source of solace and healing for millions. Crystal Gayle's legacy is one of resilience, grace, and the enduring power of vulnerability in music. A voice that transcends time. As the years passed, Crystal Gayle's music continued to resonate with fans old and new. While she may have stepped away from the limelight in recent years, her impact on the music industry remains undeniable. Her voice, soft as silk and filled with emotion, became an integral part of the soundtrack of the 1970s and 1980s, bridging the gap between country and pop. Even today, songs like Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue and You and I continue to be celebrated as timeless classics. Crystal Gayle may no longer be the young woman standing in her sister's shadow, but she is an icon in her own right, having carved out a place in music history that will never be forgotten. Her journey from poverty to stardom, from being Loretta's little sister to becoming a legend in her own right, is a testament to the power of perseverance, authenticity, and the enduring beauty of music.